Imagine going to work, knowing it was just another ordinary night. No cameras, no headlines, no expectation that history would remember your name. Now imagine that before your shift ends, you have less than 5 minutes to make a decision that could determine whether billions of people live or die. And the terrifying part? Nobody can tell you if you're making the right choice. This isn't a movie. This isn't fiction. It really happened. And almost nobody knows the man's name. His name was Stanislav Petrov. And one ordinary night in 1983, he may have prevented the end of the world. The year was 1983. The Cold War had pushed the United States and the Soviet Union to the edge. Both nations possessed enough nuclear weapons to destroy civilization many times over. Trust had disappeared. Fear ruled everything. Military commanders expected the unexpected. One mistake, one misunderstanding, one false alarm could trigger a nuclear war. Everyone knew it. That's why both countries built sophisticated warning systems designed to detect incoming missiles within seconds. The idea was simple. If the enemy launched first, you had only minutes to respond. The problem was, those few minutes left almost no time to think. On the night of September 26th, Stanislav Petrov was sitting inside a secret Soviet command center. His job sounded simple. Watch the computers. If they detected an American nuclear attack, report it immediately. That report would travel up the chain of command, from generals to political leaders to the people capable of launching a nuclear response. Petrov wasn't supposed to question the machines. He was supposed to trust them. After all, computers don't panic. Computers don't get emotional. Computers don't guess. Or at least, that's what everyone believed. Just after midnight, the silence broke. An alarm echoed through the control room. A giant word flashed across the screen. Launch. According to the Soviet satellite system, the United States had fired a nuclear missile. Seconds later, a second missile. Then a third. Then a fourth. Then a fifth. The computer was confident. Its probability of an attack? Almost 100%. Around him, officers stared at the screens. Training took over. Procedures existed for exactly this moment. Petrov had one responsibility. Pick up the phone. Report the attack. That was it. One phone call. One report. One chain reaction. But something didn't feel right. Petrov looked at the data, then at the people around him, then back at the screen. His training told him to trust the system. His instincts told him something was wrong. He asked himself one question. If America wanted to start a nuclear war, would they really launch only 5 missiles? It didn't make sense. A real first strike would almost certainly involve hundreds of missiles designed to overwhelm defenses. 5 missiles. It felt wrong. But feelings don't belong in military decisions. Evidence does. And the evidence on the screen said the attack was real. The room waited. Every second mattered. Every second increased the chance that, if the attack were genuine, the Soviet Union would lose valuable time to respond. History balanced on one man's judgment. Petrov made the most important decision of his life. He told his superiors, the warning was false. Think about that. He ignored one of the most advanced military warning systems on Earth. He trusted his own reasoning over the machine. If he was wrong, he might have allowed his country to be destroyed. If he was right, nobody would ever know. Minutes passed. Then more minutes. No explosions. No missiles. No war. The computer had made a mistake. Sunlight reflecting off high-altitude clouds had fooled the satellite system into believing missiles had been launched. A tiny combination of weather, light, and technology had nearly changed the course of human history. Most heroes are celebrated. Petrov wasn't. His story remained largely unknown for years. There were no victory parades, no medals placed around his neck that night. In fact, acknowledging the mistake would have meant admitting flaws in a highly secret military system. So life continued, quietly. The world kept turning. People went to school, went to work, fell in love, raised families, completely unaware that just hours earlier, everything could have been different. It's tempting to think history is shaped only by presidents, kings, or famous generals. But sometimes, history changes because one ordinary person refuses to ignore a doubt. Petrov didn't save the world with a weapon. He saved it with a question. What if the computer is wrong? Today we trust technology more than ever. Algorithms help us drive, recommend what we watch, approve loans, detect diseases, even assist in making military decisions. Most of the time, they make life better. But Petrov's story reminds us of something we should never forget. Technology is powerful, but judgment still matters. Think about your own life. How many decisions do you make because a screen tells you it's the best option? How often do you stop and ask, what if it's wrong? Sometimes the most courageous thing a person can do is hesitate, to think, to question, to refuse to follow the obvious path. On one September night in 1983, one man did exactly that. And because he did, billions of people got to wake up the next morning, including you. History rarely announces the moment it changes. Sometimes, it happens in complete silence, inside a room you've never heard of, because of a person you've never met, making a decision nobody else wanted to make. And that may be the luckiest moment in human history. CtrlPlusF, find what everyone else missed.